All right, we've got Thursday morning, September 25th, 2025, about a little over 6 minutes from 9:30 open. Let's take a peek, see what we've got on. Some of our time frames here. All right, let's take a quick look at the daily. Had a pretty good rundown. We've been below this daily volume imbalance and actually got a little bit of resistance down. We're at the bottom of this daily fair value gap in NQ. We have an order block here plus some new day opening gaps, and I'm looking potentially for some of a reaction down here on the lower time frames to send this back up. If we look at the hour, so on ES on the left here, once again, at the top of this weekly fair value gap, we have a daily in here. This wick may potentially be a target for us. I have Monday and Wednesday this week I was not on the right side of the market, so looking forward to have that change today. I still think we've got potential run up at the open. Let's take a look at the 15. So at open we ran up just a hair and we've really fallen out of bed. Like I said, I think there's a lot down here that can attract but also push price back up. We're getting support from the order block here with a strong push down. Once again, like I said, we filled that in, that daily fair value gap. I do like, if it wants to go this high, I do like that. See, roughly the same over here. If it wants to get up high, we've got some pretty level, relative equal highs right there, and plus this cluster of first presented, and then we have a new week opening gap that was from just this past weekend. Those could potentially be decent targets. If we look at quickly here, we've got the Dow on the left and the Russell on the right. They're kind of in the same wheelhouse. Here. That's quite a run to get up here right away in the morning session, but it may do it roughly in that vicinity. So take a quick peek on the 5-minute. Just making sure we're seeing what we've done. And where some of our targets will live. Usually I move these over the night of. I just want to see. I don't want to put them too far out in the future because then I can't see them when I get down to lower time frames. I thought I moved those over. Shoot. That was at 45.9. 45.9. Yeah, this is the one I moved. So on the 15-minute, we'll slide these over and see what we got. Taking out that low. It's a significant low. We've got kind of relative equal lows. Somewhat close over here and here on the Russell. We're going to open up in about 30 seconds here, so try and wrap this up and see what's going to happen. Nice reaction there. That new day opening gap did take that low right there. Alright, so let's see. Here. There we go, that way. And that was just not saved because I thought I had brought all this over last night. Some of those down a little bit, that's fine. And we'll get some of these off here and then we can first presented. Okay. I think we're finally ready to play ball here. Alright, so what are we noticing? Right away at 9:30, a little bit of a run up. We're going back down, which I'm in favor of for the time being. Hopefully to get us a little bit of a fake move down. I do feel that we're going to get a run up. It's been going down strong for 2 days. Getting, I think, traders to think that, all right, now we're in the vicinity of a, downward move consistently. I do like how it reacted right over there. Let's see what else we're dealing with. Anything on the hour? Alright, we do have an hour. Fair value gap here in the NQ. And then we've got a little more right here. Four-hour volume imbalance. 4-hour fair value gap right here. Alright, let's buzz down here and see what we've got. Alright, so we got a decent reaction right down there. I think I've got some buffer for room lower. Maybe we get a run up here. Let's just quickly see what might happen. Is that going to bring us down a little bit lower? Took out these highs, went down. I want to see how it reacts off of that. Just want to scratch up the 1 minute here and just see what we're dealing with. Ideally, what I'm looking at would be something in that vicinity. Puts us down here. We've got a hour fair value gap on that other side. I want to just get a hair below that if I decide to go forward with this. Same thing here. Roughly in this vicinity. Some relative equal highs, a small volume imbalance right there. And we continue to go down. The bottom of that 1 hour fair value gap. New day opening gap from last Thursday's down there. It's a lot of stop, but I like being below that midpoint. We have some just trying to see some quadrants based off of the wick on and I was hoping Seven 5.5. I'll need the rest of these. I'll put middle blue. These will be call it that. We want the same thing as we're getting down here. It's going to be any targets for us. The top one right there. Alright, so this is, we're at that top quarter. This one should really be blue. You can see it's a little bit differently. Alright, so are we going to get a reaction from ES off of there? We're just going to keep going south. We have hit the top of this. Weekly volume imbalance on ES. Gotten below some of those for NQ. Just trying to be a little patient here. Hop over quick to the Darwin Russell. That one may be where it falls out of bed. That one may be where it falls out of bed, or else we could get some resistance right here. Just trying to look and see where we're at right now. Here's that daily wick key points. So this is an important one right here. So this wick sitting right on top of that daily fair value gap. We've got another 4-hour. Fair value gap. We've got another 4-hour inside of this daily right here too. So essentially, this may still fall out of bed, but I'm not overly interested in going short. Still think we're going to get some reaction. Here's our midpoint of that daily wick right here. We are at the top of that daily wick. Our first one down is going to be right here. I don't think we have any other major wicks in play. Just this inefficiency. This wick is in play. This inefficiency. Just quickly looking at the Dow and the Russell. They're all roughly going in the same direction. We're getting to the point of we've got this new day opening gap from September 15th, new week opening gap from just this weekend. Yeah, and Russell's fallen out a bit, I believe, here and here. I'm not a huge fan of maybe getting into this thing while it's been going down that much. It may not get all the way down there. Those ones look pretty darn good too. Would ideally be looking for at least a shift in market structure on the 5-minute here. This is our halfway point on that daily wick right here that we have just breached. We're now getting down to this top end quarter portion of the wick on the NQ, which roughly coincides with our daily fair value gap and our 4-hour. This one, yes. Midpoint, top of the daily fair value gap right there as well. So we have some areas in there that may be a little bit sensitive. And it looks like the Dow is just having no issues going through that. Hypothetically, just do a paper trade here to see if I'm right. I think that's what we're going after. Now, could get a strong retracement all the way back up into here. Might stop me out. But I want to just mess around and find out. That's what I'm going to look at doing. Alright, I might be getting a little bit of play off of that. Not enough for me to definitively say yay or nay on anything. Once again, this is our quarter, top quarter for that daily wick. This was where the wick had started. Once again, on the way down, so I'm looking right here. Wick started here. We're approaching here. This midpoint with this new week opening gap from the 14th. I put it as a line because it was very close. It wasn't much of a gap, but it still might come into play. If it can get down there, I think we're going to have some good chance to respond off of it because we've got a weekly fair value gap, that midpoint to that wick, and that new week opening gap. If it wants to get down there, right now we're getting a nice response off of top of that daily fair value gap. Other thing we should probably check. Midpoint of this wick. Hour. It's right under that. Don't want to put too many lines. It's right under here. Okay. Getting a response. A decent one off of there. Decent one off of there, and that's why it's been running so much. I wouldn't really want to be overly interested in that one. But do have a wick here that could be a shifted market structure. If I was taking something in that vicinity, that's a lot of stop. Probably go there, and then I would have a take profit, number one, roughly in that area. Let's just see what it wants to do here. I do like the reaction off of that one, however, we may not be done yet. So it's supported, price decently well there. Getting another run up. If we can maybe get something to close off of this 4 hour. Might be interested in that. We're at the top of where that wick started. Quickly at the Dow, Russell, touched off that one, that weekly volume imbalance. We might be ready for a run up here. Let's see, do I have anything to take into here? Might get some resistance right here. Alright, give me a bounce off that top of that 4 hour. I feel fine to buy this one now. Not in love necessarily with that entry. Give me a run back into here, or a bounce off of here. I would be interested in that. Maybe something right off of here. Hindsight's 20/20, but man, when I was messing around down there, I felt it was going to go up. I don't know if I necessarily like yeah, I'm past that. I need that to drop below that midpoint if I'm going to do anything on this one. We would need to get down here. Give me a run down into there, and I think I would be interested in that one. I was hoping I'd catch it down there, but I got in. Not here. Let's see what we look like in the 1 minute. Don't like the reaction off that we got off of. What's that one? Don't love the reaction we got off that 1 hour. So we could have just went up with that fair value gap and came back down. Let's see if we get any love off of these areas. Anything on the 5 minute, that's a fair value gap, no. 4. Do up a 3. fine. We had a small volume imbalance through there. There's our midpoint from this whole run. Roughly right about what my target is. Right on this run. Roughly where my target is. So this is that midpoint. Work on the daily. This was the top quarter. This was the top, the start of that wick coming down over the first quarter. And the midpoint here. Yeah, really did not even get up there. In London. I mean, we didn't get above the we did not get above the 12 a.m. Seeing similar price action. This is the demo trade. We're getting some response off of here, which if we're going north would be good. I wasn't sure if it was going to come down here. That's why I did the demo trade. See what kind of reaction we get here. Just trying to see the perfect world. This would be a 6704. Roughly a 50 handle run. If it wants to get all the way up there, which it's a tall order. $24.8 from where we are. 300 handles. Just looking for other fair value gaps here we can enter in. There's a 15. There's a 15. We do have existing home sales coming in at 10 a.m. Should be in about 3 minutes. If I'm feeling risky, I may lower some of those stops down in case we get a quick run down and it wants to come back up. If I wasn't already deep into these, I might exit and wait to see what happens at the news event, but we got a little over 2 minutes and we'll see what will happen here. It may spike down and send us back up. We're ready to take out that low. right on the top of. The yellow line, that was from one that was already breached a hair. Alright, so we're getting within 45 seconds just for the heck of it. I'll be moving these back up as soon as we see what happens at the 10 a.m. But I want to leave some room for the wick. About 15 seconds here, assuming we're going to get some of a quick move. I don't think we're going to get much below this. If it does it anyway, it may go up and head down and stop me out. Alright, here we go. Let's see what we got. Would have preferred that to see it come down first. Let's see if we can get some big green bars going north. What we would look at, this might be a partial. And then the same thing, I'm just trying to see what my best, that might be a partial for me here if it gets there. This new week opening gap, right now should be a new day, as soon as that one. 15. Alright, see what, if we can take this high and this high out, see what we want to do. See if it wants to keep going above it. I'm just getting my contracts down to 1, so if I take a partial out, I don't forget and sell all 3 of them. We did have a swing high here, so this is what I would call a shift in market structure. So looking for some support off that 4-hour. See if we can get it above this. Closing in the 1 minute off of above that right here. Weekly fair value gap. This target relative equal highs, and we also have that halfway point of that daily fair value gap. I just want to look at the, start getting up there a little further. 2457. Just trying to see where we may have some other wicks to go off of. that one. We're getting a little confusing on it, but our blue is our midpoint. That looks good right there. And then I may want to switch this one. Take profit down there if it gets up that high. Blue would be our midpoint. This would be the end of that wick, so that's a good target to consider as well. See what we want to do here. This area long term, if it wants to reach up there, it looks good. I've got the quarter of that other wick right here, along with halfway point of that daily fair value gap. Let's just be patient and see what happens. So far we're looking good because we're leaving some of these fair value gaps open, which I like. Just trying to realize where do I want to take partials? Still want to try and take one here if it gets there. Also looking at 2. Yeah, at the top of that fair value gap. Get some resistance in there. You know, and this is the point where, how greedy do you want to get? Do I think it's going to get up here and keep all the contracts on, or I'm usually of the belief that you want to take something off. You'd like to see it get roughly into this area. It's been responding so nicely though. We got that partial. It's very sensitive right off the bat. May have to move this if this stuff comes back down. Figured we get a little bit of a reaction off of that one. It may retrace all the way back down into here and run back up or run back down, one of the two, but once again, this is another reason why I like to take partials. Okay, something in there, it may run all the way up there, it may not. Stop placement for me, and also kind of finding terminus. Still works in progress, so I'm going to take some money in the pocket when I can get it. Okay, up there. Part of me is, well, do I take another one there? Or do I see if this one can ride up? Looking at the 5 minute, we're still well below where opening was, and this was right around the area that 50% point of the whole move, and I even counted the move from here, I believe. Well, no, I was wrong on that one. If we're going from up here, we're a little bit above that. See what this wants to do. I may want to take one more off of this one if it can clear up a little bit higher. We have left a lot of these fair value gaps open, which is very positive. Alright, that one took that high. This one did not. I'm also looking at hypothetically too. If this has a big run-up day, where could this thing go? It's not bad up there either. Relative equal highs. I feel this is going to continue to go up. Part of me is wondering, do I leave a runner on right up in this vicinity? I'm probably getting too far ahead of myself here too. Let's try to see if this is. This move is going to be our halfway. It's consolidating halfway up before it goes up. That might not be a horrible target. Just depends if you want to take that risk. Honestly, the more that I think about it, I feel good. Where's my daily volume and balances out all the way up here? 6693. Yeah, it's definitely a run of runs. We're going to risk it just based on how it's going here. If we can stretch up there and get those stops for me are probably going to move up a little bit. I'm probably going to get a little more sensitive on not trailing it too far back so I don't lose those other two contracts too badly. Relative equal highs there. I'm just wondering if it doesn't get up here, but that new day opening gap is on the 15th. It's 10 days ago. Just for the heck of it, I'm gonna, well, this is my quarter of that daily wick right here. Got a midpoint on this wick. It's a top quarter. That's where the start of that daily wick was. Right here. On this other one. Let's see if this down close candle wants to support price up. And just waiting. Spent some time here debating if I want to take another one off it. Move the stops up. Alright, let's see if I can stretch through. Alright, there's my 4-hour fair value gap right there. Once again, this is that quarter wick on the daily. Here's our midpoint on the daily fair value gap. Alright, so now we're getting to that quarter area. That was another spot I was potentially looking at taking a partial off that top quarter of that daily wick. I do feel that midpoint and these relative equal highs should be able to stretch up a little bit in there. See, it's respecting that, that's the only thing. That wick is, price is gravitating a bit towards that one. Just trying to be a bit patient here. It's looking on here more promising. Don't need too much more. It's really meandering around that top quarter of that daily. Sell one more. It's a little bit above. Okay. So now Just waiting for the rest of that if it wants to get there. Knowing that, I think trying to figure out what would be best for the stop placement under that 4 hour. Yeah, I think we'll be good. I think I'm going to be good sitting on this. We're already in this an hour. I will probably stop the recording here. I'm going to keep those targets where they are unless I see something drastic happen. I hope I can get a run up into those areas and more that I look at it. No. If we're getting up here, that daily volume imbalance, I still feel it's going to be in place. So I'm going to keep my eyes on this probably for another hour, hoping that we can get somewhat close up to there before lunchtime at 11:30 and see how we trade from there. So that's it for today.